Sometimes people surprise you. Sometimes they have hidden talents that you didn't know existed because they were hidden. My guest today is one of those people that surprised the heck out of me. I always thought of him as a fitness guru, which he is. I always thought of him as a seriously jacked bro like me, which he also is. But what I didn't know is that he's also a seriously amazing dude when it comes to money. And that's what we're talking about today. Not how to manage money, because how lame is that? But how to win with money. So let's do this thing. Hit it, James.
The Brad Johnson Show. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Blast off. Welcome to the Brad Johnson Show.
I'm Brad Johnson, and I'm turning losers like you into winners like me.
The Brad Johnson Show with your host, Brad Johnson.
Get ready to start winning.
And now your host, Brad Johnson.
Hey, I am your superiorly rich host, Brad Johnson. Here as always with me, assistant to the host, James Kirkland. Welcome to the
me.
where I turn losers like you into winners like me. So glad to have you here, pouring my voice into your cavernous brain cavity. Okay, so James, topic today, money. Do you have enough of it?
No.
I didn't
was actually going to talk to you about that real quick after the episode.
Time. Okay. Okay. We can talk about that later.
Okay.
Your, like I said, your performance review is coming up.
3 o'clock. Does that work?
No, we're not putting it on the calendar, James. My calendar is booked. You have access to my calendar. You know. Okay.
That's why.
Busy.
3 o'clock.
I got a racquetball tournament coming up. I gotta display my Lamborghini later this afternoon. Like, let's just not. We're not. Okay. Let's not go there.
Okay. We'll take a rain check.
Okay. We're talking to Chad Brock today because, like I said, hidden talents. Who knew? Like, you've seen this guy, James. Like, he's, you don't look at him and think, wow, this guy's got money just because he wears, like, such tight clothing and stuff. It's like he can't afford an extra size, but
there's so little
apparently.
Clothing. Yeah. And, like, I now that I think about it, it might just be that he stuffs cash into his clothing, and that's why he looks so buff.
Well,
that's not true.
I don't think that's what happened. Anyway, okay, I'm helping you salvage the wreckage of your life, and especially your financial life in this episode. We've done kind of taxes for entrepreneurs and stuff like this, but this is just like practical money management stuff. So let's get into this. But before we do that and talk to my good friend Chad Brock, it's time for a word from our sponsor.
Traveling can be hard. The flights, the crowds, the Ubers, the fast food, constant having to go to the bathroom when it's not convenient. But if you ask any true globetrotter, what is the hardest part of traveling? Their answer will be doing my laundry while trying to see the world. Introducing pocket-sized dryer sheets from BJS Industries, solving the globetrotter's real problems. When you're traveling, keeping your clothes smelling and feeling clean is vital. However, luggage space is a valuable commodity. Don't waste space with bulky boxes of dryer sheets. Try pocket-sized dryer sheets from BJS Industries. With pocket-sized dryer sheets, the dryer sheets go in your pocket. How neat is that? Encased in 100% authentic synthetic plastic packaging, these dryer sheets won't leave your thighs feeling raw and abused, like when you have just a regular sheet in your pocket. Instead, your clothes will feel supple, soft, comfortable, and best of all, if you forget them in your pocket when you wash your pants, you won't have to put a dryer sheet in at all. Listeners to The Brad Johnson Show can receive a very special offer. Buy one 50-pack of pocket-sized dryer sheets, get an entire $1 off the second 50-pack. But hurry, act now because a deal like this won't last long. Pocket-sized dryer sheets from BJS Industries is the traveling man's or woman's best friend.
My guest today is somebody that you know if you've listened to this show because he's been on this show before because he's a stud, a legendary fitness guru, co-owner of with the InstaGym with me as the other co-owner. We co-own it together, the InstaGym that is very popular and successful. Also a guest on the Brad Johnson Show, which I also mentioned, author of Fat with a Silent E, Freaking Amazing to Eat, the best-selling book, and now the author of Stop Being Poor, a simple 47-step guide to complete and utter wealth in 9 days or less. My guest today, Chad Brock. Chad, my man, how's it going?
Brad, it's so good to be back on the show. This is my favorite podcast in the entire world, and that means you're my favorite host in the entire world.
Well, honestly, that's not surprising, but I'm really glad to have you here again. Last time it was like way too long of a gap in between shows, so I'm glad we were able to do this a little more quickly than we did last time.
Yes, definitely. And I know we're both busy, but being business partners, I think, has kind of brought us closer together. So this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, just the interactions with the InstaGym. Like, why don't you give the people a little update on that? I mean, I have so many projects going that I can't keep everybody updated on everything. So why don't you give the people a little update on the InstaGym?
Yeah, so the InstaGym has just been a smashing success over the past several months. We opened it about 2 months ago, and it's already full. We're totally maxed out in memberships. We have a limited number that we offer in order to keep the exclusivity of the gym. So right now we have 10 members, including some of the Jenners and some other famous celebrities and people that need to work out. And so it's just a fantastic opportunity to really build relationships with these people and have them give us a lot of their money. So it's been fantastic. We've developed some amazing workouts. They're all catered to those particular people's needs and wants and the types of photos they're wanting to get. So very, very, very customized and tailored experiences for these people. But yeah, don't expect to be able to get in. Just saying that, putting that out for the rest of the audience, but you can definitely look it up on Instagram and look at it.
We had to hire an additional VA just to handle all the rejections of people trying to get into the gym. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, just all the celebrities that have been pouring in and everyone else that doesn't qualify.
It makes sense. I mean, it's the only Grammable gym out there. Like, all the other gyms are just horrible. Like, you get them on a camera, it's just like, oh, please, like, give me a break. But I mean, when you have a gym like that, that's like designed for Instagram. I mean, it's the backdrops, the color, the lighting, just everything. It's designed for the world that we live in.
It really is. Yeah. We've actually built some environments to help people understand what it'll be like to be so fit in those particular environments. We have a beach room with a pool, and we've got an ocean room, like a cliffy coastal area, different environments so they can see how they'll look out in the wild whenever they've finished getting to their goals and they're out there taking photos of themselves.
Love it. All right. So, Chad, we're having you on here today because you've taken a little, there was a fork in the road that, had some really high protein steak on it that was organically sourced and humanely butchered. And you just took that fork and, you've really, what I'm saying here very eloquently right now is that you've kind of taken things in new directions. So you were the fitness guy, and now you got a new book, bro. What?
Yes, and I do have another book. It's my second book. I only needed 2 because one for each hand. I can use them to do curls. So that's the goal behind this. And really, I've come to understand so much about finance through my gym experience and just learning what it means to be insanely wealthy and how being so ripped can get you there.
Yeah. And we talk a lot about, and you talk a lot about in the book, about just like the sensitivity around body positivity and how it's like, if your body isn't ripped, like there's no reason to be positive about it. But kind of the cultural change that's happened in the last 10 years. Talk to me about that, just the introduction and the comparison you were able to draw from that fact right there.
Yeah, definitely. So in my book, there's a big comparison between the similarities that I find between fitness and finance. So we count our calories, we count our reps, but we don't count our spending, especially when you're this wealthy. You don't need to, because you just have so much you don't even need to bother. And there's just so many dollars coming in constantly that you can't keep up. So that's what accountants are for. But I was told that I needed to make some adjustments to my finances because I was just, people called me reckless, but they obviously didn't know what they were talking about. So I ignored them and just wrote a book instead. Just telling them, that I knew what I was doing was right, and that being wealthy was going to last forever no matter what I did, because I was just so intensely wealthy.
Yeah. So really, the core of this whole thing is just taking control. Because I mean, you've really delved into the
Exactly.
psychology of this, and just there's so much terrible advice being thrown around there by supposed gurus who don't know what they're talking about, and like changing habits and stuff like
Yes.
that. And like they throw them out as like these obvious solutions, but then like there's a reason everybody's in debt, even though they have these obvious solutions. So you've kind of just attacked the people's relationship with money, and really figured out what it is that's going to make the changes that necessary actually stick.
Exactly. Yeah, and really, this just like you said, psychology is so important in this discussion because I just think that negativity is so important when it comes to being wealthy. Because you know what, your financial situation is never secure unless you're like me or like you. But so the way that you get to that state of negativity is by never being satisfied, never giving up, always wanting more, always looking for that next dollar, and scrimping and scraping for it, taking it from other people wherever you can, just hoarding it all together so that you can really feel satisfied and like you've accomplished something.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so in chapter 1, you also kind of address. So like, okay, so people are like, okay, what is the first thing that I do to help my spending? It's like, well, track your spending. And it's like, okay, that's boring. First of all, who cares? Like you spend
Yeah.
it, you know what you spend it on because you consume that item. You got that triple venti latte, or
Yeah.
you whatever it is. You made the payment on your car, whatever it happens to be, or just bought it outright like I do. But what people really don't care about is investing. And I find that kind of concerning in a way, because it's like, well, people, if you invest with BJS Enterprises, the InstaGem, something like that, you can get I don't know, I don't remember the numbers last time, but it was huge, the return.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing is I tell people, invest, but don't invest in the wrong things, and only invest in things that have my name behind it or people that I recommend behind it, because anyone else is completely just bogus and is faking it.
And that's a large part of the book, is just your list of recommended investments.
It is, yeah. And people can also find it online, but they can also buy the printed out version they can frame on their wall to motivate them every morning when they get up.
Yeah. Okay. So, Chad, talk to me about the rich life. That's a concept that I've understood for a long time because I am rich, but I think most people don't really understand. They may dabble in it and then be like, wow, that felt really good, but I don't know what it was. And you're saying that they just touched the rich life without even knowing it, even though they're poor. Tell me about
Exactly. Yeah, the rich life is just something that you can't really experience in all its fullness until you don't even have to think about it anymore. Okay, so it really has to be something where your life just becomes living off of the interest of all your money and all your investments, and by that point, you really don't have to think about anything, and that's when the rich life really comes to your front door and moves in and turns your house into a mansion. And multiple mansions in California.
I love it. I love it. That is what we're talking about here, people. Right here is that it's your relationship with money. It has to do with you, and that's the first step that you tell people, is not to track your spending, not to get your 401k in order, because nobody even knows what that stands for, but to figure out what is your rich life, and then just start living it.
Yeah, just really focusing on what your dream life is going to be, and just wait for the money to come in to make that life happen. It's really not that hard, I always tell people that the wealth is a mindset, but it's also a brain set, and it's also a set of mind reps, and that's where that connection to fitness comes in. That you have to be reminding yourself that you never have enough, and that the next dollar is just going to make you want more, and that's really how you just build wealth and accumulate it.
Okay, so let's talk, because the book title is "Stop Being Poor," which some people may be like, well, that's like saying to a tree, stop, being a tree. But if they are poor and it's just like, well, stop it. I think that's the type of advice that people don't get anywhere else, and it's like, wow. I mean, it's just mind blowing.
Definitely. Yeah. And people don't realize how simple it is to be rich, and yet how exclusive it is, because that's really where a lot of the fun comes, is from the exclusivity of it.
Yeah. Okay, so if somebody wants to start living their rich life, obviously they need to buy the book because they can start doing the investments in there. But then also there's other things, and I think the biggest thing that you kind of tell people to do is to just not start just use the credit card, like just see what happens.
Right. Yeah. So your credit card is the golden ticket to the land of being insanely rich is how I like to describe it.
Wow.
So
Poetic.
that credit card, every time you swipe it, it's like swiping right on wealth on Tinder. Like that's the equivalent of what you're doing. Every time you swipe your credit card, you're setting yourself up to make a special connection with wealth, and it's gonna go somewhere. And
Wow.
you're gonna make something really special out of it, and maybe wealth will dump you and you'll have to find wealth somewhere else, but you know what, that's part of the journey.
Yeah, definitely. And no, we had somebody actually you sent me this actually, the guy who the testimonial from one of your beta readers that he took your advice as far as just living his rich life, and what do you know, he ended up buying a one-way ticket to the Bahamas, showed up there, used his credit card to get himself a house, and then he started showing up at networking events. I mean, that guy's rocking it now.
He is, yeah. And he's been keeping this up for quite some time. He does have 3 banks coming after him. I think the FBI has a warrant out for his arrest, but he is killing it. He is really he's found a special experience, really, that is, like I said, it's the exclusivity. Nobody else is doing that. Yeah. If no one else is doing it, you're probably doing something right. That's how I like to look at it.
And it all started with him defining what his rich life was. And for him, the rich life was, Bahamas and beaches and, nice houses and networking events with the bigwigs. And I mean, who knows what kind of business deals could come out of that? I think he's on the right track.
Exactly. And even though he does have those banks coming after him, that might be a powerful connection for him at some point, if he can get them to be distracted long enough from how much money he owes them.
Yeah, I mean, just think about like the bigwigs at the banks that he could start rubbing some shoulders with, and rubbing elbows as well. Like if he took it to that level.
Yeah, and maybe he could bring them to the gym, and then they could invest in it. We could open another one.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many possibilities. My mind's just whirling. Oh man, if I wasn't already rich, I would totally buy this book because it sounds like it just has so much information in it. Thankfully, I am, so don't have to worry about that. But man, people, you got to get this book because I am assuming if you're listening to this podcast that, well, let's just say you're not going to be joining me at any of my parties. I'll put it that way.
That's true.
You're not going to see.
Maybe someday we'll have to monetize your podcast and, just give you that extra income stream.
Well, it would be so much money. I don't know if I could even handle it, monetizing this beast, wow, that's crazy. All right,
real quick, Brad, let me just jump in here and tell you about our next project we've got coming up. So now that this book is out, we're releasing the LinkedIn Gym. Okay. So we partnered with LinkedIn, and we're going to be opening.
Well, we should probably say that the partnership is pending. You're talking to the people though. Their people are talking to your people.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. So we've really linked up with LinkedIn in a special way, and we've kind of just developed this niche for business people that want to be able to work out in their suits so they don't have to change. So we're working on a concept for a new gym. It'll be the LinkedIn Gym. It'll be a fantastic way for recruiters to meet people, and you can set up appointments and work out with your potential clients and potential employees. It's just going to be fantastic.
Oh, I love it. And man, I can already see it. Just the colors, just involved with that, the blue and the white. Like it would just, wow. Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
We'll
keep you updated.
Yes, definitely. I think we should probably co-own this one too. So we'll have our people talk. All right, thanks, Chad, so much for this. People, go get the book. Go get it. What are you waiting for? You need it. Stop being poor.
Yeah. Yep. Just stop being poor.
Just stop.
Crush that poorness out of your life.
Yeah.
No pain, no gain. No pain of earning money. You won't have it. and you won't
Exactly.
be, you'll still be poor.
Oh,
If that makes
so
sense.
good. Golden nuggets. Ha! Falling from the sky. All right, thanks, Chad. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, fantastic interview there. Man, people, I'm telling you, go get that book. Stop being poor. You know, just live your rich life now. Like there's no time to waste.
There's no need to wait. It's really, like you said, it's a mindset. You just got to make it happen. And yeah, life is short. Just make it happen.
Yep, there's no time to waste. Make it happen now. And that is, kind of my philosophy on life. And so far, it's working out pretty darn good. All right, we'll talk to you next time, guys. Remember to share the podcast with some poor person that you know. We'll talk to you next time. Ciao.
Thanks for listening to The Brad Johnson Show, where every episode we bring you tips, tricks, interviews, advice, and answers to fix the mess that is your life while helping you stop being a loser and start winning in business, health, and your personal life. Show us your face, tweet us your tweets, and Insta your grams at Brad Johnson Show. The Brad Johnson Show. Winners only.
If there's one thing that I know, it's business. But I know many things. And I also know that you don't need to worry, because you aren't the only one. You aren't the only business that needs help. You aren't the only person that has a hard time finding the right help at the right price. This is where Business Bloodline becomes your bloodline to temporary and permanent staffing. Business Bloodline specializes in hiring internet workers to creatively solve problems for your business. Business Bloodline does all the vetting and only delivers candidates that make sense for your needs and at a cost that you can afford. But 60 seconds isn't enough for me to tell you why hiring through Business Bloodline is safer, cheaper, and less time consuming. I would rather show you. To get more information or business consultation, visit businessbloodline.com. If the job can be done on the computer, Business Bloodline can find a match. Visit businessbloodline.com and be sure to tell them that you heard about them on The Brad Johnson Show to get 10% off your first hire. businessbloodline.com. And remember to tell them Brad sent you.